Michigan Early Literacy Collaborative. Comprehension and literature describe characters in a story. The research for this lesson comes from the foundational books listed. The learning objective for this lesson: readers will describe traits, motivations, and feelings of characters in a story. They will describe how the character's actions contribute to the sequence of events in the story. The materials needed. The teacher will need a large anchor chart to use to record as the first book is modeled. There are anchor charts here as guides, or the teacher can create their own. You will also need 3 short narrative books. The ones I chose are The Paper Bag Princess, Chrysanthemum, and Stand Tall, Molly Lou Melon. The lesson will take approximately 30 minutes. The narratives suggested should be read prior to this lesson. The pre-skills needed: an understanding of the parts of a story, an understanding of the external or physical characteristics and actions you can see, and the internal personality, thoughts, and feelings of a character. As readers, we make connections as we read, and understanding a character helps. As we read, we notice details about the character. These details help us understand why a character does the things they do and how his or her actions drive the story. In the first book, where the teacher models, you will take a look at the Paper Bag Princess. In this story, the focus will be on the main character, Elizabeth. You should have the book as a reference and look back through the story to remind the students of what happens in the story. You might say, readers, as we look back at this book, we are reminded of the main character, Elizabeth. The other characters are Ronald and the dragon. Each of these characters' actions adds to the story, but we're going to focus on the main character, Elizabeth. As you're talking about Elizabeth and her traits, the things that make her special, record them on the chart behind you. For the physical characteristics, take a look at the illustrations and notice that she is small or petite and blonde. Write that as a physical characteristic, something you can see. As the story unfolds, you'll notice that she's very brave, because in the story it says she chases the dragon to find Ronald. She's also very clever, because she tricks the dragon. And finally, Elizabeth was fiercely independent, because at the end of the story, things don't happen as you would normally predict a princess story to end. In the next part, the students will work in partners to use the book Chrysanthemum and determine how Chrysanthemum is a strong character and what kinds of character traits she exhibits. You might say, in the story Chrysanthemum, the story begins before she goes to school. With your partner, think about her feelings and outlook on life then. List them. They also might need some kind of a word bank to get some ideas. Everything changes when she goes to school. Work with your partner and tell how Chrysanthemum felt when she was at home and how she felt when she was at school. You can encourage them to try to find evidence in the story. As that is completed, you can share out and have them check with other pairs to see if their findings were similar. In this last part, the you do, or independent practice, the students will each have some kind of a recording sheet, and they will work independently to work through the book Stand Tall, Molly Lou Melon. In this book, they're going to be looking for things that show that she is trusting of her grandmother and that she is very confident in who she is as a person. As they finish this, you can walk around and check and make sure that they are on the right track. This can be used as a formative assessment. As the children are determining the character traits, you can also mention that the authors make strong characters, and that helps determine the message of the story. The characters in these stories all show strength and perseverance, and each story's message can be discovered through the traits of the characters. Ask the students, how did the character change throughout the story? These are their sequence of events and decisions that they make. In the end, what did the character learn? And then can you connect it with your life? The author's message in each of these stories can be interpreted in different ways. The Paper Bag Princess shows that she was self-reliant. In Chrysanthemum, everybody is special, and Molly Lou Mellon, trust others, or being unique makes you strong. One idea is to record every message as you read these short narratives throughout the year. These can support writing in another lesson. The anchor standards in this lesson are as follows.